Hello and welcome to ENT 110, Entrepreneurial Fundamentals for EC3PA Fall 2022. Some of you I've had before, so welcome back. I've had you for other classes. Some of you are new to the school, so hopefully you are adjusting. You're able to get on Blackboard. I did send out a how-to with Blackboard. Make sure you contact the school or you contact me if you're having any issues with Blackboard, with your email. I also, on my syllabus, give you the text and several other items. Now, I did move to an OpenStax text this year, and I don't believe that there are any in the library yet, but I'm working on getting them there. This means that it is a PDF version. You can find it in a book version, but the text is free, and I do have the link on our site. So for week one, I'm Catherine Robertson, if you didn't see my intro video yet, and I will be your instructor. See. All right, so ENT 110 students, when you log into Blackboard, we have these wonderful new pictures, right? We have an entrepreneurship square there that says, ENT 110 8A2, Fundamentals of Entrepreneurship. So when you click on that, there are three things that you are going to see when you click into this class for Blackboard. College-wide, we are trying to make things more homogeneous, and so you should see in most of your classes a similar setup on Blackboard. First, you'll see there's three folders you'll see. The first is Start Here. You'll see course-specific content and weekly folders. So I'm going to begin with the Start Here and kind of walk you through that. This first video for week one, the beginning of week one, is a little bit longer. Typically, the videos are 7 to 8 minutes. This might be 15 to 20, depending. So just hang in there. All right, so you log into Blackboard and you look at your ENT 110 course and you see the three folders. Let's look at the Start Here first. Now, when you see Start Here, if you look all the way over to the right, there are two arrows, three little dots, and then an upside down caret. You're going to click on that upside down caret and it flips it around so that it's upward facing. Now in here, you are going to see, once I post this video there, you will see multiple things under this Start Here. You will see a copy of the syllabus. You will see a copy of the academic calendar for the school for the year, and you will also see a copy of the textbook in PDF form that has been given to us or snagged through OpenStax, which is an OER source. So I'm going to go through the syllabus before we move on to the next folder. So you'll click on the syllabus and kind of scroll through there. It says, ENT 110, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. This is an 8-week session, so we move rather quickly. It is asynchronous, so we do not have a specific time that we meet. That being said, I am available to meet via Zoom, FaceTime, Blackboard Collaborate. I do have a Zoom room, or on campus if you set an appointment. I am on campus off and on throughout the week, so I can meet with you in any of those ways. Just shoot me a text, send me an email, and we'll work on a time that works for both of us, student and instructor. So my email is on there, crobertson@ec3pa.org, and my phone is on there, 814-490-6473. Make sure that you write those down somewhere separately. If for some reason you can't get into Blackboard or your EC3 email is not working, you can always text me or email me from your personal email if you have those set aside to let me know that you're having issues so that I can help you figure out what's going on, right? So this course, really, we're going to be just looking at some entrepreneurial concepts, talking about how you might get a business up off the ground. I will be making videos. I have links to informative videos for each week. We'll talk about the Small Business Development Center. We will talk about ideas you might have. Some of you already have your own businesses and you're looking to expand or looking for new ways. This is the intro course that kind of talks about the generalized idea of entrepreneurship. There are some other courses. I know we're offering entrepreneurial marketing this course with Dr. Jeffers, and we will be continuing to offer more entrepreneurship courses. All right, so I've taught this course in several modalities, in person, in a 12-week session, and this is my first 8-week online session. So bear with me, I'm making it into a great course. So that look through this syllabus, you will see there is a link on there for the text, but it's also on Blackboard. We will have 5 discussion posts, and so it's listed there what's required of you. Participation in discussions, 15% of your grade. Homework assignments, 30%. Business plan at the end. We'll talk about the project more next week. And your combined exams are 40% of your grade. So I have a list of the dates that discussions are due, just for review. The first discussion is due next week. By all of our assignments for the week are due the following Monday by 11:59 p.m. And so the first discussion, which I will talk about in the week 1 material, will be due by next Monday, 11:59 p.m. A few key items. Please reach out to me if you already have reached out to me by Wednesday, the 25th, to confirm you're registered. We have students that are registering and dropping and whatnot this whole first week, so sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. I want to make sure I have everybody's email, I have everybody in Blackboard, I drop people that are not in the class, all those things. So reach out to me and just let me know, hey, I'm registered in your ENT 110 class. I'm only teaching one section this term, so just say ENT 110, I'll know which one you're talking about. If I don't hear from you via email, via text, and I have no work from you, right, because work is due next Monday, by Tuesday morning, August 30th, you will be automatically withdrawn per college procedure. So I don't want that to happen to you, but if you please take it seriously, because if you are dropped, even if you for some reason can still see Blackboard or you had an extenuating circumstance, whatever it might be, you can't re-enter this term. You'll have to wait till the next semester to take ENT 110. Let's see. So scrolling through here, 7 assignments total for homework, exams. I'll talk a little bit about the project. That's 2 components, a short PowerPoint and a paper. Let's see. So you're going to scroll through your syllabus. Now, looking at the syllabus. In there, it's broken down in 2 weeks, right? And so this first week, there are quite a few things in the first week. So I will just talk about this first week. You're going to be looking at chapters 1 and 2 out of the text. There is a homework assignment so the first homework is from both chapters 1 and chapter 2. Your discussion post will be your intro and talking a little bit about your business experience, your entrepreneurship experience, ideas you have, things you may have already started. So that will be in our first discussion. All of these items will be due by next week. Now, so you can look through that course schedule and you will see that there are things due each week. Midterm exam is in week 4, and we go through October 17th is our last day of the term. So it's a pretty quick class. You don't want to fall behind. Again, communication is the key. I'll say communicate, communicate, communicate. With this class and with all your classes, make sure we're human, right? Your instructors, your profs, we're all human. We know that things come up. We know that this is a rigorous course schedule. Between kids, spouses, significant others, grandparents, siblings, issues at your house, you have a plumbing burst, right? A car issue, a pet issue, whatever it might be. There are things, you have medical stuff going on that sometimes get in the way, right? And I know that as well as anyone, having been around higher ed and a student more than half my life, right, at this point as well. Stuff happens and it's tricky. So I will tell you that if something comes up, do your best to get everything in on time. If you are struggling, reach out to me so we can make arrangements so that you are not docked as many points as if you had not reached out to me and just turned things in late or not turned things in at all. So please just reach out to me. It's confidential. If you need help outside of what I can provide, we do have counselors that I can refer you to. Anyway, that being said, communication. All right, so review the syllabus. Let me know if you have questions. I will touch base later in the week. And so if you have questions, I may compile a little list of things that people have asked throughout the week, and one of those questions might be yours. All right, so that is in there. The syllabus, the academic calendar is for the entire year for EC3, this 22-23 academic year. So I mentioned the syllabus, the academic calendar, and the textbook PDF version is listed there under Start Here. All right, next section, course-specific content. So under this folder, you will see my intro, which I did email out. If for some reason you didn't get that email, maybe you weren't on the list yet, you're a late ad, you have the instructor intro there. It will be there all semester. I will continue to add to this course-specific content, and I will let you know when I add to it, right? I'll either send you an email, I'll have a video, whatever it might be. There's also a link there for APA writing resources, and this is a great resource through Purdue University. They offer a bunch of APA writing styles. You can always purchase, looking to see where my APA manuals are here at my desk. You can always purchase, do I have any over there? An APA manual. There is a manual, there's several in the library if you are looking for that, but I would say that the online version is helpful as well. When it comes to writing resources, our librarian is amazing. Mary Howells, she's there located at St. Ben's Monday through Friday. She is more than willing to help with PowerPoints, with papers, with any type of communications there are. She loves that stuff, right? So she is a valuable source because she is on campus all the time, and she is available via email. M. Howells, which is on your syllabus as well, if you want to reach out to her and make a plan if you have you would like some more writing help. We also have a lot of great tutors this semester, so if you'd like some peer help, that would be we can do that through her, or you can contact me directly. So that is in there. And I also have a copy of the syllabus in the course-specific content. Now, I switched from a book that I had been using for this class, and I really like this new entrepreneurship book. Those of you that have had me for Principles of Management, it is a similar type text in a similar fashion. Now, but it gets across, it's very close to the text that I was using before, and there are a lot of things that I supplement in, and so I'm hoping that you are able to get a lot out of this text and a lot out of this course, right? Again, I'm always available if you have questions. And if for some reason I don't know the answer, I will find it for you, or we'll find it together, whether it's things through the Small Business Development Center, which is a great resource up at 9th and State, housed in the Gannon Business Building, CBI. And I know a lot of those folks up there. I've been at Gannon for many, many years. And then also we have a lot of resources locally as well. And, having put together an advisory board last semester of local businesses and asking them for input on our curriculum, business curriculum and business and entrepreneurship curriculum, there are a lot of businesses that are really on board here with EC3 and are willing to help, right? And banks and different things if you're looking for different resources locally. But we'll talk about that a little bit later in the term. For this week, I'm going to go through kind of your assignments. So once you find the book, right, and you're like, oh, I found the book. It's this orange-looking book from OpenStax. Don't be alarmed that it says it has 700 pages. I know, right? It sounds like, oh my goodness, what's this? A lot of it's just different stuff, right? So a couple of the things that we are going to be looking at from the get-go, right, when we talk about entrepreneurship from chapters 1 and 2, is, we're going to be talking about some of, and we don't do every chapter, so make sure, and I will remind you during each chapter, we do move around a little bit, but during this first week, we're going to look at chapters 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1, the entrepreneurial perspective, right? This begins on page 7, entrepreneurship, what's happening today, what's considered a vision and a goal for an entrepreneur, what would be some of those examples, and if you're thinking about starting a business, what goals should you be setting? And also, how do you develop and foster that entrepreneurial mindset? It's in all of us. It's in some way, shape, or form, right? How do you light that fire and find that spark? So that first chapter just kind of gets you thinking in the entrepreneurial perspective. The second chapter, the entrepreneurial journey and pathways, there's a quick overview of the entrepreneurial journey. Like, how do you get there, right? How do you start a business? How do you come up with an idea? And there are steps. It's not just magic, right? There are steps you can follow to figure out what the needs are of a specific demographic or of a community, right? And so I've had very good luck with students feeling engaged with this class, whether they want to start a business right now or not, going through the steps of looking into what are the needs of, maybe the people that I work with, or maybe some of the people I hang out with. Like, what are the things that are missing in our community that, or in the country or world at large, that I could provide as a niche, right? Everything that we see has been provided, right? Smartphones, we didn't have those 20 years ago. And so how have they evolved, right? So just thinking about the things that we have now that we didn't have 20, 30 years ago, which I know some of you aren't even 20 or 30. Some of you are. So you remember, like when I was an undergrad, we didn't have the internet. Can you imagine, right? I was down at Penn State and big campus down there, right? Love State College. And I got an email. It was an intranet. We couldn't even contact anyone outside of Penn State. But guess what? No one checked it. So like I couldn't even send stuff to professors. This is the mid 90s, right? Couldn't, I had a little email address and I still remember it. But it was useless, right? You still had to print everything out, send everything in. You went to the library and you looked through microfiche and you pulled out books and magazines. Now it's amazing the things that are at our fingertips, right? Not only from a communication standpoint, but from an electronic standpoint, we can work remotely from anywhere. And we learned that throughout COVID, right? So just thinking about some of the changes we've seen, and with all new changes, there's new opportunities, right? So from an entrepreneurial standpoint. All right, so what is that journey? How do you become an entrepreneur if that's something you want to do, right? And what are some pathways to do that? And how might you set up a framework to inform your entrepreneurial path? So that is chapters 1 and chapters 2 from the text. Again, the text is available via PDF. I'm working to get this text in the library as it's a newly adopted text for me that is free for you. So you can, if you are looking for this, you can Google it. I did find a couple on eBay and a couple on Amazon. They're like 20 to 30 bucks if you wanted a physical copy of the text, right? It's got an orange cover, which you'll see when you download it. All right, so that is our first. So once you go through and you read those chapters, right? And remember, when you're in week 1, you're going to click on that far right arrow so it drops everything down. So you are going to read those chapters. You're going to review the syllabus for this week. Send me an email, right? You're going to read chapters 1 and 2 from the text. And then you're going to, for some reason, the PowerPoints that I have here, they don't just pop up. So you have to download them and then open the download. So those are a good summary of each chapter. So they will kind of, once you've read and then you hit things the second time in that PowerPoint and you kind of review them, you're going to feel like you really are getting the material and digesting it. So there are 2 PowerPoints there for you to view, chapter 1 and chapter 2, that are summaries of those chapters once you've read the chapters. The next component, and this is a little bit longer video than I usually post, which is also this video for week 1 is a little bit longer than I normally post. But there is a video that I love that I have played in multiple business classes, undergrad and grad, across the board at colleges that I've taught at. And it is Steve Jobs' Tips for Success. So this is a YouTube video. I think it's overall like 30 minutes or so. But he basically goes through, whether you like Steve Jobs or not, some of the things you will realize that he talks about in these 10 tips are quotes that you hear from him on a regular basis, right? But he talks about how anybody, really can change the world, which is what I love about this video, because he talks about how, you really have to have a passion for something, because if you don't have a passion, things are difficult and they're hard, and only and a sane person would stop, right? So entrepreneurs have this passion that drive them, that's deeper and helps them get over hurdles, which really we all have this for life, right? And he talks about, inventing things and changing the world. You can live within your box, right? But if you really want to, the whole entire world was created and the built world around us by people no smarter than you, right? They just felt like they needed to kind of push in the box and something comes out the other side. Right. And so what, the takeaway for this course is really that we all can shape our futures. Right. We just have to really light that fire or find that fire that's already burning inside us. So the 10 tips for success. The last tip is him giving a speech at Stanford, and he talks about how he dropped out of college and he talks about how that changed his life. Right. He talks about how his parents adopted him. He was an adopted child. He talks about a lot of different things. That maybe some of you already knew or some of you don't. But every time I watch that video, so when I play it in class, because typically I come from an in-person teaching background, I get teary-eyed and students think I'm such a goofball, right? But when I watch that speech, you can't help but get a little teary-eyed when he talks about the different things that have changed his life, right? The course of his life. So view that video. The next thing for this chapter is homework. And so from the textbook, I have it listed under the week 1. You're going to email your homework directly to me. So there's Did I put a link to your email in here? Let me see if I did. Moving forward, or maybe I'll do it with this, I'll add it in. I will put a link to the homework. So I will give you a homework to write on. So I have complete and email the homework directly to me. So from chapter 1, questions 5 through 10, there's a questions page, and it's on page 37, 38. You're just going to do 5 through 10. You're not going to do all of them. And then for homework 2, I'm going to use only 3 questions, 2, 6, and 16, and that's 92 and 93. So I will work to get a Word doc up of those questions so you can write right on those. And then you're going to email those. If you are just looking in the text, right, you can just type them up and send me that as an attachment because they're there. So if you go to page 37 and 38, you're going to see questions for chapter 1. Go down to number 5, you'll do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? You don't have to rewrite the questions. You're just going to write questions chapter 1, ENT 110 on a Word doc, type it up, and then send it to me. Now, how important are these questions? Very important. The reason I say that is that I pull from the midterm and the final directly from these questions. They are really, I've handpicked them to be the things that I feel like are the most important. As you'll see, there are a lot of questions, application questions, and things that we could work on. Each week it'll be a little bit different, the number of questions that I have for you. So go ahead and get started on those as you finish the chapters. Make sure you read and look at the PowerPoint first. You can watch this Steve Jobs video first, last, however you feel, but make sure you're watching it by the end of this week so that it helps frame the course for you. Now, the discussion, and I see I already have a couple folks that are chiming in. The discussion for week 1, usually we have this in class, right? Because I told you I've taught this in person, and it's it can be, let's see, I'm going to click on there. So when you click on the discussion, this is under week 1, and I already have a couple of 3 responses in here already. Thank you, guys. I see Cassandra, Bonnie, and Sean. You guys have all chimed in. Wonderful. So when you get a chance this week, again, everything is due by Monday night next week at 11:59. You're going to give me give me and the class a little bit of an idea about who you are and what's important to you. Why are you here in higher ed, right? What's your academic journey, or, what's the reason for taking an entrepreneurship class? What's the reason for enrolling in business classes, right? And we all have something a little different. Some of us have businesses, multiple businesses. Some of us have never worked in the business community, right? Maybe we work in healthcare, or we work in different areas that are not in retail, or maybe work in hotel and restaurant management, things like that. All right, so in this section, when you click on discussion, you will see there are 3 things that I'd like you to try to address, right? And as long as you're, giving me a little bit of an effort, you're going to get full credit for your discussion, right? And really, it's for you to start thinking. One of the key takeaways from academia, as someone that has spent a lot of years, and as an adult, when I went back for my doctorate, I'm in the dissertation phase of that, but I had 4 years of coursework at the doctoral level, that you start to think about things a little bit differently than the folks that are not in college around you, right? That are not in academia. You change your perspective, right? You start to think about what other people's perspectives are. And you start to think about why you have the opinions that you have and how you formed those. And maybe there's new information coming in that will help you change or adjust your opinion, right? And so this feeling of constantly learning and digesting is really what I want to ignite in any of my courses, but in particular this course 110. But kind of, how are you seeing the world around you, and how can you change your perspective? How can you be more optimistic? How can you be more intuitive, right? And so, as someone that believes in those things wholeheartedly, or I wouldn't be here, right, teaching, and just kind of find that place in you. And it's okay to share, right? Because we're all in this together, in this ENT 110. We're all taking the same class, and we're all here together studying the same materials. So it's okay to share, right? But share what you're, as much as you're comfortable with sharing. So 3 things. Please give the class a little background regarding your interest in the business and entrepreneurship program. So why are you here, right? Maybe you're like, I don't even know. If you don't know, fine. Tell us that you're not sure. Tell us that maybe it was free. Tell us that you always wanted to start a business. Tell us that you want to change your career. Tell us that you are, you just graduated high school and you're really excited about this, EC3 opportunity, whatever it might be. Tell us. Tell us, number 2, tell us why you might see yourself as an entrepreneur someday. Maybe you're not sure if you'll see yourself as an entrepreneur. Maybe you're thinking, well, what would be the reason behind being an entrepreneur? Those folks locally that I know that are entrepreneurs, started a business, started multiple businesses, there's good and bad. There's pros and cons, right? You need to have a thick skin. You often work 7 days a week. You're in charge of your own destiny, right? If the buck stops with you, but you also have flexibility, right? You also can make more money working and having your own business than you maybe could working for somebody else, right? So there are like pros and cons, which we'll discuss those throughout the term. And third, discuss any experiences or interests that might help you develop your entrepreneurial spirit, like things that maybe have happened to you recently, or you had an idea and then you were like, oh, this is a really great idea. And then sure enough, like a month later, it's like an idea that you see is, on TikTok and someone is making millions of dollars over something that you're like, wait, I had that idea, right? So thinking about, some of those items. So try and hit all three of those if you can. If you are viewing other folks' intros, which I would love it if you did, so we get to know each other. We do have a pretty big class, 25, I think we still have in here. So we have a pretty big class, and we have 25. I thought we had 24, but maybe we have 25. And so there'll be a lot of folks chiming in. So if you want to comment or on anyone else's, like, oh, hey, I have that same idea, or, oh my goodness, we might know each other. I work for that company too. Feel free to do that. Just be respectful and inclusive with the language you use when you respond. You're not required to respond for this discussion, but there will be discussions. I do have you do responses, but this one is more that you can read and learn about your classmates. All right, so that is the discussion topic. Let's see. And so those are my items for week 1. You're going to review the syllabus, look through the start here items. You have the PDF of the text. Look at the calendar, course specific. I have my intro there if you're interested. Some APA writing resources. Then you click on week 1. I will work to get these questions into a Word doc, but again, if you are the text is online. So when you go to, homework 1, you don't have to rewrite the questions 5 through 10. This is listed under week 1. You can just write chapter 1 homework in your Word doc, and then, question 5 and write the response. You don't have to rewrite the question. And then same with chapter 2, there's 3 questions. And you're going to send those to me via email. You're not going to send them through Blackboard. And I repeat, you're not going to send them through Blackboard messages. Sometimes the things that are attached and whatnot in Blackboard messaging, they end up in outer space. I'm not sure where they end up, but I don't want that to happen to anyone. I've had some issues, and until we get them ironed out for this new Blackboard Ultra, I'm going to have you email me directly. You're going to go into your email. You are going to set up an email to me from your email, right, from your Microsoft email, and you're going to attach the document to it. Now, if you are handwriting, if you like to do that, I prefer that you type, but if for some reason you want to handwrite your answers and you want to take a snapshot, right, take a snapshot that I can read with your phone, you can send that as an attachment as well. So there are multiple options. Just make sure you're getting those things to me, and I will respond back to you in a received fashion. Now, I will get the gradebook up and running. However, because everything is emailed directly to me, sometimes I am a little bit behind on getting all of the grades in my gradebook onto the Blackboard gradebook. So I'm working on that, trying to be a little bit more cohesive, but with a large class, when I have stuff coming in and I'm reviewing it, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Just know that when you're turning in homework, if you're turning it in on time and you're making a good effort, you will be getting full credit, right? And so if I say received and you know that you put some time into it and you did all of the questions, you will be receiving full credit. So once you get that received from me, you kind of know where you stand, right? So usually most students, they get 100% for homework, right? They turn in all their homework, they turn it in on time. It's an easy grade to have happen. Also, I think I mentioned earlier that these homework questions are critical for your exam. So, I ask short answer questions at the exam that is sent to you, and I pull those from your homework questions. So not only are you working on them now, but you'll be able to use them later to help you with exams. So if you have questions for me, please reach out. Again, C. Robertson at EC3PA.org or 814-490-6473. You can shoot me a text. I am available virtually by appointment. on campus by appointment. Make sure you email me by Wednesday, right? So I will reach back out later in the week and either just via email or via another video and find out if they're, kind of chime in on any questions I've had so far, and just kind of see how everyone's doing and check up on you and send some reminders. So have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon.